Hello. Today we're going to go over how to format references and then include a hanging indent. A hanging indent is the technical term for having the author's names stand out or the first name stand out while indenting the following information. When you are creating your references, I like to create all of them and then insert the hanging indent. I'm going to go over first the pattern for how to write a reference for an empirical article in a peer-reviewed journal. The reason I'm going over this is because the majority of your references should come from empirical articles in a peer-reviewed journal. This pattern will be the same for all types of publications, and you should be very comfortable with this. The first thing that you list are the author's last names, followed by a comma, and then their first initials with periods in between and a comma separating the first author from the second author. Then you'll repeat last name, comma, first initials with periods, comma, then the ampersand or the sign for the and, followed by the last author's name or the author's last name, comma, and then their first initials. You'll see here that there is no comma separating the last author from the year of publication. In the year of publication, make sure that it is in parentheses and followed by a comma. Then you'll include the title of the article. The title of the article will be in sentence case, which means that the first letter of the first word is capitalized. You will also capitalize proper nouns and the first letter of the first word following a colon. Then you'll include the title of the periodical or the title of the journal. This should be in title case, meaning that all of the major words are capitalized, and this will be italicized. This is followed by a comma and the volume number, which is also italicized. The number inside the parentheses is the issue number and is no longer italicized. This is followed by a comma, and then you will insert the page ranges. So there should be a dash and several pages. Then a period, followed by the DOI. Almost all journals published within the last 15 years have a DOI. If there is no DOI, you do not need to include this piece. Now, some of you will use a reference generator, or you'll find a website that does this. I am not a big fan because there tends to be consistent errors when using these products. You can use them as a base, but then you need to go back in and check to make sure that everything follows the pattern I had just gone over. So I've pulled up a PDF in case you weren't able to use a reference generator, and I'll show you where you can find some of the information. So the first thing that you have to do is list the author's last names, followed by their initials. Here it would be Davidson, comma, M period, comma, Sorensen, comma, J period, R period, comma, and the ampersand between the second to last and last author, which would be Reedy, comma, T period, J period. Now remember that you don't put a comma between the last author's last name and initials and the year it was published. The year it was published is up here, and sometimes it'll be in different places depending on the journal who's publishing it and their formatting. Here you can see that it was published in 2016. After I put the year in parentheses followed by a period, I would insert the title of the article, which is this, remembering that it's in sentence case, where you're only capitalizing the first letter of the first word, as well as the first letter of the first word after a colon, and any proper nouns. So the personality assessment inventory is a proper noun. It's the name of an inventory. So these words would also be capitalized. I would put a period then and include the journal title. So the name of this journal is Law and Human Behavior. Being title cased, all of the major words would be capitalized, and I would italicize it. I would also italicize the volume number, which is 40, and then parentheses put the issue number, which is 1 and no longer capitalized, followed by a comma and the page range, 72-81. If you look over here, you can see the DOI. So I would make sure to highlight, copy, and paste that and insert it into the reference section. Now that you have, or you should have, all of your references entered in, you're going to want to include a hanging indent. You can see that formatted on the first one, and I'm going to show you two different ways that you can insert a hanging indent with the rest of them. So we'll highlight them all. The first way is to right-click and select the word paragraph. Once you've selected paragraph, you're looking for the table piece that says indentation and special. We're going to select hanging, hence the hanging indent. Once I hit OK, you'll see that my references are now formatted properly. That way, if there are any changes that need to be made or you need to add any information, it won't affect where you've hit Enter Tab, Enter Tab. The other way to do that is to once again select them and then find your line spacing options. Once you click on line spacing options, it will bring you to the same table or the same page that has the indentation, special, and hanging. If you have any other questions on how to insert a hanging indent or how to format a particular reference, maybe it's a special or hard to find reference that's rarely used in APA, feel free to email me at ljones@jfku.edu or go ahead and Google it.